So that's it for me. Now, our training agenda, we've got just very basic things here to experience, of course, the key principles, and to practice some of those ready-to-use activities that we can tie up to each principle, and to try to adapt them in your own classrooms, all right? So maybe we can have a little demonstration later if we've got time, but the main adaptation will happen in your own classrooms, all right? So let's get ready with a little icebreaker, right? So I want to break the ice, even though I am not there to virtually shake hands with you, but this is my way to get to know a little bit about you, all right? Okay, so this game is called Two Truths and a Wish. I bet you're familiar with the game Two Truths and One Lie. So it's just akin to that kind of game. Now, I would like you to tell me two true things about you as a teacher, or about you and your classroom, you and your students, and of course, one wish. Right? What do you want your classroom to be? What wish would you want for you as a teacher for your students? All right. Let me start while you are thinking for your own, and I'm gonna call each of you later to share yours, right? So, two truths about me: my students like to move a lot, like worms. And I have tried teaching very young learners, so I understand that these kids are mostly kinesthetic. And probably one of the reasons why they like to move a lot is because I influence them too. I am a teacher who's very kinesthetic, right? So I like moving a lot. I like a lot of movements in my classroom. And another truth about me, I have a TA puppet, and I named that Cha Cha. Okay, so this puppet could be anything that I could grab on my way to my classroom. So it could be anyone, anytime, right? So what does TA mean? Teacher assistant, right? So I can grab anything, just like what I have right now. So say for example, this small bear. All right, I could call this my TA Cha-Cha, right? So what do I use my puppet for? I could use it with a lot of things. Say for example, because I do not really speak Chinese fluently in my classroom, but I need to use some basic instructions for them to understand. I would try to use what I know. Say for example, 听cha cha 老师, something like that, or no talking, be quiet. My TA puppet would help me do that. Or it could also be my assistant to help me model an activity, right? So it could be anything that you could grab with your hand and give it a name. All right, one wish. I really wish my students could ask more questions in English. And I guess that's probably everyone's wish, right? We have what we call, in language teaching, we have what we call the productive and receptive structures, right? So what our students basically give us are the productive sentences, like we ask them, they answer. Say, for example, we say, what is it? They say, it's a dog. So they can only give us the productive structures, and it takes some kind of training to train them how to ask questions. So I wish my students could ask more questions. All right, that's for me. All right, can we call on somebody who would share their truths and a wish about their classroom, please? Anyone could start. Could be Teacher Lily or Teacher Aver. All right.
No, no. More seconds.
It doesn't have to be very long. Just anything that I want to know about you. Mm-hmm.
Let me try.
Yeah, sure.
My students like to talk a lot.
In Chinese, yeah?
Yeah, even in Chinese, they like talking. Like with.
Right, right. That's so true in most classrooms, okay? Anything else?
And my students would ask me more questions. Just same as you.
You're right, right. That's every wish of a teacher. Okay, sure. So do you have another truth to share, or That's it for now.
That's it.
That's it for now. Okay. All right. So I hope to get to know more of you during the upcoming sessions. Thank you. Thank you, Lily. All right. Aver, please.
Yeah, the kids in my class, they like to play more games. Like they really love moving, and just while they're doing the games, they're really happy to learn something.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but also they're, like they're young, so they were naughty,
Okay.
and move it like shot,
Oh,
yell.
right.
Yeah,
That would make us go
I will,
crazy. Mm-hmm.
yes, they can be crazy. And my wish is that they can more in English. Like they will suddenly speak in Chinese, saying something like, "Oh yes, I will talk to me in Chinese." On the side, and I was like,
Okay.
"Interesting. Let's go back to our
Right, right. Okay, so with those things you shared, yeah.
yeah.
So with those things you shared, let me say if I got it correct. All right. So for teacher Lily, she has students who like to talk a lot. And for teacher Aver, she has students who like to yell, who like to shout. Okay. Now that's very common in a kindergarten classroom or even in English setup classroom, right? Kids will always be kids, and that's their way to express themselves, all right? Okay, now I can still see that you're smiling when sharing those things. That means you are patient. You're a very patient teacher. Otherwise, you wouldn't be kindergarten or young learner teachers, isn't it? Okay, so that's one good quality about you. All right, now here we go. Okay, what do these pictures mean to you? We've got here 3 images. Mm-hmm.
Maybe critical thinking.
Okay, sure. You've got critical thinking. Okay, anything else? What do you think about this second one? The one that has a pencil with a board and A, B, C, D.
Writing.
Writing, yeah, of course. It includes something about writing. All right. What about here?
Communication.
This communication.
The skills together.
Skills together. All right, good,
Yeah.
good. Okay, good. Now at least I can hear the ideas that you have towards the principles, which we're going to dive into today. All right. Now, these are basically the key principles that we use when we teach Oxford Discover. All right. Let's name them one by one and let's get to know a little bit more about them. All right. So you mentioned about critical thinking, which is very correct. All right. This is called the IBL, inquiry-based learning. All right. And I have seen in the questionnaire that some of you are confident and familiar with this. So that's really nice. It's a good mixture of teachers in that school. All right. So could you read that for me, Aver? Inquiry-based learning.
Yeah, inquire my students in
Mm-hmm.
evaluation, critical accuracy thinking. These guidelines the most effective environment for us.
Okay, great, thank you. So inquiry-based learning, right? So let me just show you 6 facets of this principle. All right, we've got here about facilitating student-centered learning. I'm sure you're very much familiar with this, that student-centered learning gives students the active role, right? They have the active role in class, but it doesn't mean that, of course, you will be out of management, right? The teacher acts as the facilitator, guiding the learning and ensuring that everyone has a voice. So in your classroom, in your English classroom, you've got like 6 to 10 students, or are there more than 10? More than 10 students? Yeah.
I don't have any.
No, I have 2 classes.
Uh-huh.
One in the first class, I have students. In another class, I just 3 students.
Oh, okay. So it's not yet a full class. That means it's easier for you to manage the class or to facilitate a student-centered learning. That's great. Okay. One thing about inquiry-based learning is it allows the students to wonder out loud, to ask questions, to be curious. Yeah. So curious students are little inquisitors. They're like little detectives. They're ready to look beyond the information on a page, especially when they're flipping through the pages of their book. They will start to wonder, oh, what's this all about? They have that kind of curiosity in their mind, right? Now, inquiry-based learning also would let the students' questions lead the lesson. All right, this is a little tricky because in an ESL classroom, it's very, especially here in China, right? It's very rare that students will be asking questions to the teachers. So what we do is we equip them with all the tools that they would need so that they will learn how to ask questions. And by doing so, we model. Okay, what kind of questions should we model? All right, we are going to take a look at that later. Okay, so that's one fallacy that we're going to break. Like one notion that students should just sit down and just listen. Okay, no, in an inquiry-based learning classroom, they should be able to ask. Should they ask in English? Well, if their level is okay, then they will be able to. But, kids will always ask. They always have questions. So if they can express themselves even in Chinese, that's also great. Okay. All right. Next one here. They will have time to reflect for both teachers and students, all right? And in reflection or in doing our reflection, the Oxford Discovered lessons should begin and end with student reflection. That is why there are questions that will help students to think back. Oh, did I do this? Is it something that I know? Is it something that I will still know? All right, they have those kind of reflective questions already, okay? And here, they will make connections. It's akin to taking time to reflect. These two are basically what we call the metacognition, if you have heard about that before. Metacognition means like learning about learning. Yeah, so it's like a cycle of learning. Yeah, so when they make connections, there will be deep learning. And this can only occur if the students connect new knowledge with prior knowledge or with something that they already know. All right. Next one will be cooperate instead of compete. So there are a lot of competitive activities in the book, and it may create a temporary motivation. Sometimes it may also leave some students feeling less confident because they would feel they didn't contribute a lot in their learning. But there will still be some students who are confident enough. So it is our task as teachers to facilitate their learning so that there will be balance between the learning styles of our students. And that is hard. Only super people would be able to do that. That is why as teachers, we just keep learning about our students. Basically, it's not what the book that we're trying to learn. We are trying to learn more about our students every day so that we can give them the tools that they need to learn better. Yeah. Okay. So that is for IBL. Now we've got here the second key principle, which is the literacy or language and literacy. Okay. So we have here the aspects which are vocabulary, grammar, and literacy. We know that for vocabulary, students need to encounter new words. Now, it is our job as Oxford Discovery teachers to present this vocabulary in different contexts. Okay, let's try to do away with that thing like, it's a dog, and they say it's a dog. It's a dog, and they say it's a dog. So it's like an endless repetition. That is just one way to teach vocabulary. For Oxford Discover, it actually encourages us to present vocabulary in different ways. And it can also make us creative as teachers. All right. So for grammar, the grammar in Oxford Discover comes from the texts or from the reading passages most of the time. All right. Somehow it is not easy to relay the grammar rules to our students. So there will be some activities that we can try, which I'm going to show it to you later, so that there will be no more boring grammar drills, all right? So let's see how we can adapt the key principles to teaching grammar. And of course, for literacy, we've got here reading and writing. Some of you mentioned that writing is basically hard to teach to Chinese students. Okay, well, if we try to look at the scaffolding techniques, all right, we may probably say that, oh, okay, so at this age, the students do not really need to write a sentence, right? At this age, all they have to do for writing is knowing what a capital letter is, knowing what a punctuation is. All right. So we just have to align the learning milestones and the learning objectives so that you, as teachers, and the students won't be overwhelmed, right? However, I believe that parents, of course, will be thinking, oh, my daughter should be able to write a sentence right away. But it's not just in a snip of a hand like that, right? So it also comes to a process of managing the expectations of the parents, right? And that's also one of our jobs as teachers, to manage the expectations of our parents. Because sometimes some parents are not aware of the learning or literacy milestones, right? So it is also our job to explain to them that, all right, at this age, this is what we should be focusing on. Okay. Now, the next one here, 21st century skill, which I consider the most abstract because it's hard to see it, right? But this is actually also one of my favorites, right? It has such things like critical thinking and communication, collaboration, and creativity. Okay. Okay, there will be some training sessions that we're going to deep dive on these 4 C's. But for now, we would know that these 4 C's or these 21st century skills are essential for students to be able to work together or to solve a problem. And how are they actually going to use this kind of skills in their reading, in their writing, in learning itself, right? Okay, so what I'm showing you right now are just overview of the key principles. Okay, so I guess you are ready to take a look at some more activities, but before that, I would like to ask you, anyone could answer, all right? So we have gone through the 3 key principles. We've got the IBL, inquiry-based learning, language and literacy, which has vocabulary, grammar, reading and writing, and the 21st century skills. So which of these principles is the easiest to adapt or to use in your class? Anyone can try to share their ideas?
Because I haven't have a class
Mm-hmm.
like a teaching. I have a class in like English.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it now.
Oh, you don't have an Oxford Discover class yet.
Yeah.
I see that. Okay, I see that. So,
But it's easy to like adapt a facilitate student centered learning. It's like as their age is just so young, and then we monitor something Chinese always.
yeah.
Like they would ask me like, oh, what is it? What is it in English teaching? Is it in English ever? Well, like out my and we found out what is it in English? How can I say that?
Right,
So
right.
we would monitor something. But yeah, like English
And that's actually a good start already. Yeah,
Yeah.
to spark their curiosity. Although they ask you in Chinese, but they are curious to know what it is in English. So, translation method is actually a very traditional method, but it works all the time, right? And
Yeah.
it's one of those foundational methodologies that we use for teaching English, translation method, right? So, for students like those, because I also got students like those before, I would say, okay, here is how you do it. You have to learn first how to say that question in English,
Yeah.
right? Like, so they would say, 这个说什么? Is that how they say it? 这个说什么? So, okay, before I tell you, then you have to ask me in English. Teacher, what do you call this? What's this in English? There are many ways that you could say, all right?
Yeah.
So that is actually one way of introducing IBL. They are trying to drive the lesson by their questions. They are curious to know a thing, vocabulary in English, right? What about Lily? Is there anything here that you think is the easiest to use?
Maybe the number. Let students encounter new words.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because my students are like them are primary school students.
Mm-mm.
Some of them are very good teaching and ability. Like reading and writing ability.
Okay, so they have good literacy foundation, which is very, very nice. Okay, we give it to the kindergarten teachers who kind of train the students, right? They train the students as early as kindergarten, how to write, how to read, and eventually they apply this kind of discipline in learning English. So that is actually a good discipline. All right, the only challenge is because it's different language. So even if they do really well in writing Chinese, in reading Chinese, they have already that kind of discipline that they are in the habit of reading, they're in the habit of writing. And the only challenge they will meet is it's because it's a totally different language system, right? Chinese and English have exactly or very extreme difference. All right. Now, it's good that you're confident in using any of these principles. Now, here we go for some activities. All right. Okay. We call this activity the magic picture questions. Okay. So it helps the students observe, think, and question. All right. So I'll be your teacher Chacha today. Hello. What do you see? Look. I spy with my little eye something black, something white. What do you see? Come on, answer. What do you see? Okay, yes, you said it right. Panda. Ooh. All right. So, in that kind of questioning, I was able to use the recall method, like questions that are not very hard. Okay, I didn't say, what is it? Okay,
Yeah.
but I said, what do you see? Which is also another way of asking it. And I coupled it with some gestures, right? So it would give them the idea what I want to ask. All right, now here's another question. Okay, now why are they black and white? Why is a panda black and white? And then they will answer in Chinese, of course. You would not expect them to answer in English, right? So they will say, 老师,因为 I actually don't know. Okay, so I also tried to ask, but is there any reason that comes into your mind? Why are they actually black and white?
I have no idea.
Okay, so some kids might know, right? Some kids are natural scientists, and some kids may know about it, right? So one of the things that I have learned why they are black and white is because they use it for hiding, right? It's like, the grasshopper can change their color to camouflage, right? So same is true for pandas. It's kind of, it's kind of their way to camouflage or to hide because it's akin to the color of the wood somehow. Sometimes I also heard my student before said, because it makes them beautiful. Okay, so they have this kind of answers that are, anywhere, all right? But we just accept them. At least they're trying to say their ideas, all right? So in this kind of question, we have the analysis. They're trying to analyze. So they start talking to their classmates, all right? Now, the last question would be, it's to personalize or to connect with what they know. Okay, have you seen a panda? Okay, for me, because I don't know how to say this question in Chinese, it may be hard for me to say it. All right, so I would use a map. I would use some landmarks to help them understand what I want to say. So the only landmark that I would think of would be Chengdu, right? Did I say it right? Chengdu, right? Now, of course, for teachers who can speak Chinese, then you can say first the question in Chinese, just whisper it a bit, all right? And they would understand. Then you can recast the question in English, right? So they will start talking about their experience, like where have they seen a panda, where, when, okay? And the stories would be endless that you have to stop them, okay? That's the only, for me, it's the beauty, and at the same time, it's the chaos in an inquiry-based learning, right? When students get out of the topic, all right? So here are some example activities. Okay, I'll be sharing a copy of these things to you so that you'll see how the questions are phrased, right? So anyway, what I'd like you to take a look at is the way the questions are scaffolded. Do you know what scaffolding mean? Right? So so scaffold, it's just like building blocks, right? So building blocks, and it is a way for the teacher to help the students understand a new concept. So looking at these questions, the first question starts with eliciting prior knowledge, what they already know. So the question is just like, what is it? Do you like? All right. And then you go to some more tiered questions. The first level will be recall, to review the vocabulary you have learned before, like colors, say for example, and going to a higher order thinking skill, which is analysis. And of course, it says here you can encourage guessing. That's still part of analysis. And on to personalization or reflection. All right. So as I've said, I'll be giving you a copy of these activities so you can have some cheat sheet whenever you want to use it. All right. That's for the animal topic. Okay. Now, what is this topic all about?
Weather.
Weather, right. So how do we usually teach weather without thinking of the inquiry-based learning approach?
Flashcards.
Yes, flashcards. It's very helpful. Yeah. And it's the best way we could do on a very busy day, right? I've seen a video escalating on TikTok or in Douyin that there is this, yeah.
Sorry.
So it's okay. So I've seen a video escalating in TikTok that there is this teacher. She uses an
Yeah.
umbrella.
Mhm.
She really took time to prepare the material. So that umbrella has some hanging cutouts of rainy, sunny, and I thought, how long did it actually take her to prepare that material, right? So in an IBL classroom, in an Oxford classroom, or in a classroom, sorry?
We need to change the. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll be waiting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just a second.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be gentle.放这儿吧，把这个拿一下。哎呦。
没有。 Okay.
Okay. Okay, that's much better. Is that your office?
Yes.
All right, cool. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, the very first thing that comes into your mind when teaching vocabulary such as this is to use a flashcard, which of course I agree with. For very busy teachers, I would say, yeah, that's the best resort. Um, I saw a video escalating in TikTok or Douyin. There is this teacher who created a material, right? It's an umbrella and it has a lot of dangling cutouts of rain, sun, it's a lot of work, in short. Are you willing to go through that kind of material preparation?
No.
Yeah, honestly, right? Honestly, like if we can actually let the students learn through flashcards, then it should be fine, right? So, here, in a topic like weather, how can we use magic picture questions, right? So, what's the good thing about magic picture questions is it does not only let you use inquiry-based learning approach, right? It can actually enhance the vocabulary of the students. So of course you will start with what they know. So what do you see here? It's a rain, sun, clouds. Do you need an umbrella when it's rainy? Do you need an umbrella when it's sunny? All right. So yeah, they also need umbrella when it's sunny, right? Some students may wonder why. Do you need sunglasses when it's rainy? Some may say yes, and they would tell the reason. Okay, so we can accept every reason that they have as long as it's not very extreme, right? So it expands their vocabulary, okay? Now just remember the scaffolding, which means from simple to personalized question, all right? Next one here. We have what we call a cross principle activity. That means it can cover all the key principles. So, in a lesson that you may find in which unit is this? Unit 7 to 8. It's about seasons and about weather. Okay. What you can do for warm up or review activity. All right. Something that's easy and something that's going to spark curiosity among among your students would be something like this. Okay, it could be a weather reporter. What materials do they need? Flashcard and just a simple anything that they could use as a microphone. All right, anything that he could use a microphone. It doesn't have to be a real one. Okay, and we provide them with the language that they need to use. So we have to pre-teach the language. That's the only challenging part about it, right? And towards the end, there will be some discussion. What clothes do we wear in sunny, rainy weather? If you want if you want a worksheet for that, that's also okay. And they work together as a group, right? If you want, they can just sort out the flashcards according to the kinds of weather, right? You have there a t-shirt, shorts, coat. They just have to sort it out. If you want it more competitive, you can time them, right? Which group would be they love competitions. So there are a lot of things you could do. And it's not only about one principle, it can cover all the three things, which is the goal for teaching Oxford Discover, right? There you go. So again, the rationale here or the reason for doing this kind of activity is you have the integration of questioning, of course, vocabulary learning, and communication, all right? So why is it important to know the rationale or the reason behind the activity? Because we don't just play game for the sake of, yay, fun, right? We play a game because there's a reason behind it. We have to tie it with our learning goal, right? And this is what I loved and also what I hated the most when I was, a teacher in a learning institution because even when I sleep, I still think about what kind of activities I should do for my students. So that's the thing about teaching, right? That's because I have to make sure that there is a reason for the activity that I would do for the students. It's not just, okay, just do the tap the flashcard. For what? Okay. Big and what's that? Soft and loud kind of game. For what? Okay. There are reasons why we do those kind of activities. What else? Repeat after me. For what? Okay. I'm not saying that those games are not good. I'm saying that they should have the purpose. Yeah. Okay. Word action game. This would be some boosts for vocabulary and grammar. It's pretty easy, okay? So let's try to tie it with one of the units here, music. Okay. What is the title of this unit? I don't remember well, but it's like how do we make music? Something like that. All right. Now there's an activity that I have tried actually before with the same kind of topic. It's called a the TPR with grammar. Okay, so first we have to introduce the verbs that they'll be learning in this unit. Okay, so this kind of activities do not need to be like what you read in the lesson plan that Oxford Discover has, because have you seen the teacher's book for Oxford Discover?
Yeah.
Have you seen the teacher's book for Oxford Discover?
Yes.
Yeah. It actually gives you a lot of ideas, all right? But it doesn't give you personalized ideas, right? So this is where this kind of activities would come in, that easy activities, but high impact, all right? So here, some example of verbs that they will learn in this unit would be tap, shake, blow, sometimes strike, okay? Of course, we need to explain it to them in Chinese if we want, or with TPR, okay? Do you remember what TPR means?
Total physical.
Right, very good. Okay, so total physical response. This is one of the best methodologies among young learners because it involves a lot of movement. Okay, so there's not a need for real drums here. There's not a need for real maracas. If you have, then it's good. If you have a real drum, it's good. If you have a real guitar, it's good. But if not, then just make do with whatever you have, like a can, the table, right? So they make music using whatever they have, all right? There you go. So after you introduce the verbs with TPR, you can start pre-teaching the grammar. Okay, this is one thing that I always found effective. So for teaching grammar, we don't need to actually say that this is a noun, this is a verb, okay? One way that we can do that is to just add pronouns to the vocabulary right away. So for example, I'm holding a drum. So for example, this is a drum. I don't just say drum and they say drum, drum and they say drum. So one word response is not what we want. We want them to be able to use a very basic sentence already. So you can say, I'm playing the drum. I'm playing the drum. I'm playing the drum, right? So it adds up some TPR. You're already introducing the pronoun I. Okay, if you want it to be more advanced, then or if they have learned about he or she, then that's also a good opportunity for you to put the nouns and verbs together. So I always make sure in my classroom, if I teach new vocabulary, especially if it's a noun, especially, yeah, if it's a noun, I usually always couple it down with some pronouns, right? So he is what? She is what? Okay, there you go. Next one. You can here have the game part. Okay, you can be very playful in this part. Okay, now the main thing about word action game is the usage of TPR and putting together some basics of a sentence, which is the subject and the verb. Okay, like he is and I am. Okay, in one sentence already. Okay, although the main thing that we always do is this one, right? Like it's done, right? It's a drum. It's a maracas. That's okay. But if we can introduce right away with a pronoun, I had a maracas. I'm playing the maracas. Okay, then they have this idea that these are the pairs of words that go together. You already start to build that kind of concept, right? Eventually, when they go to primary school, they will learn about these combinations. Or if they go to a higher level, they will learn what these words are called. Also, this is called a verb. This is called a noun. All right. There you go. Okay. So again, the rationale in this kind of game is kinesthetic learning for abstract verbs. Okay. Kinesthetic, that's a lot of movement. Abstract verbs, say for example, tap, shake, blow, because we cannot see them. All right. So they are abstract and we seldom use them. All right. What are kind of concrete verbs? Concrete verbs, say for example, eat, something that we are almost very familiar with, okay? Talk, walk, all right? There you go. TPR benefits, kinesthetic learning will, the retention will be boosted because they use a lot of total physical response, all right? I don't know if it's the same for adults, but I guess not. For example, in your case, if you move a lot while learning something, does it help with the retention?
Yes, I think.
Yeah. Right, right. So, for example, me when I learn some Chinese words, for me to understand the word better is if I actually do it. Yeah.
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 But if I
But-
don't, then the retention is so hard to come to me. So TPR is very important. Error correction. Okay. So there are a lot of ways to do error correction. Okay. Say when you instructed the student to, okay, I'm playing the guitar, but she said, I'm shaking the guitar. Then the other students would be listening carefully and they will say, I'm shaking the guitar. Then other students would say, I'm playing the guitar. All right. So we don't say that's wrong. We just recast what the student said, and they will be able to reflect back. Oh, what I said was wrong. Okay. The thing about this is it does not embarrass the student. It could also be a form of fun, like I'm shaking the guitar. And so they would imagine, oh, don't shake the guitar. We actually play the guitar or strike the guitar. All right, there you go. All right, so just a lot of TPR, a lot of kinesthetic learning for teaching vocabulary and grammar. Right, here's one, which is the last activity. It's called the Teamwork Tower. All right. The Oxford Discover books has a lot of project work, all right? In those project works, it's mostly individualized, all right? But if we can only adapt the 21st century approach to teach or to let the students do the project works, then it would be easier, okay? We can allot how long is one class for you? 40 minutes or an hour for English class?
40 to 45.
40 to 45. All right. So, what kind of teamwork activity can be done in 40 to 45 minutes? All right. It doesn't make you it doesn't make you relax actually, because it's a lot of managing also when you're letting your students do some teamwork activities. But instead of letting those project work be individually done, they can do it as a team to achieve the 4 C's. All right. I'll show you quickly the examples that you can do. For example, numbers, right? As a kind of warmer activity or as a kind of consolidation activity, what could be done? You can set up a challenge. All right, I have blocks here. Are there some blocks or learning materials in your school?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Or boxes, paper, okay, paper cups, right? Okay, here's the challenge. I'd like you to build a tower with 10 blocks only, all right? And then they are going to gather the materials. They have to count and gather. So it could be like as a group or as a class, or you split the class into 2 or 3. All right. So what's good about this? There is collaboration, collaborative counting. They're trying to solve a problem. What's the main problem here? to build a tower with 10 blocks. All right, so what else could be the challenge here? Like, which tower looks better? Which tower is higher? They use the same kind of blocks, but how are they going to stack it? Are they going to stack it horizontally? Are they going to stack it vertically so it'd be higher, taller? All right, so that's the challenge, right? So you just have to add the kind of challenge in the activity they're going to do. All right, some language that are very essential, you could pre-teach, please, thank you, help me. And these are very essential because it's not always done in an English classroom, right? Culturally speaking, most kids are not used to saying this, all right? So if we can only tell them how to say it, for example, please, or thank you, all right? Maybe help me. That's very common in Chinese, like 帮我老师可以帮我吗? They always ask for help, so that's very common. But other words like please, thank you, can I have more? Okay, we need 2 more, we need 1 more. Okay, there you go. And there are also opportunities for you to teach them native expressions when asking help, right? So that's the beauty about this kind of activity. All right, now here's one for weather. You can see here in the picture, it's like a mural. Okay, they can do it as a class with whatever materials you could give them. All right. Here's something about musical instruments. Okay, you can read through the instructions in the PDF I'm going to send you later. Okay, they can have like a mini concert, but they don't need real drums. They can only use whatever they have, cans, paper, boxes. Here's a zoo, example of a zoo using blocks, right? Okay, so they could use that. And here are some of the benefits and challenges. Okay, so you might be thinking, but maybe this kind of activity is not good for my shy students. There will be language barrier. Students will be off topic. There are always quick solutions for these. All right, so I am showing you this so that you will be ready to mitigate the kind of challenges, all right, with some solutions that you may have. And I'm sure you can because you have management skills as teachers, right? So there you go. Here for the word action game, it's basically the same. So these are all in the PDF I'm going to send you. You can read through them, huh? All right.
Yeah.
And I believe you have a class coming up. You have evening classes. It's hers. Okay. Yeah. So here are some of the challenges and solutions for those activities. All right. These are all self-explanatory. You can just read through the PDF and it gives you the answer. Okay. So no worries because I'll be sharing my WeChat. You can always chat me up if you want some clarifications about these activities. All right. There you go. Okay, so these are just the key takeaways. All of these things are in the PDF I'll be giving you. And these are the things we will be looking at during the next sessions. All right, some theories and some applications. There's actually a quiz, but because Cami and Lily are not here, so I will give this as an online quiz, okay? You can answer it via WeChat, okay? There you go. I'm not gonna show you the answer right now because, oh, there it is. You saw it already. Okay. But anyway, those are just 3 questions. I'll be sending them to you as follow-up questions to see if how much we have understood in today's topic. All right, so I won't take you long. This is the end of our first session. If there will be a chance that I can do the training in your school, then that would be much better. But I hope with this kind of interaction virtually, I hope you still learn something that's applicable for your classrooms. All right? Okay, so is Lily coming back or she's already preparing for her class? She's not. All right. Okay. So thank you for staying with me until the end, and I'll see you during the next session. All right. Bye for now. Thank you again for the lending your ears for today's session. Okay. Bye.